is J.P. Scott, and welcome to How to Become a Filmmaker. Just like me, I'm going to show you the basic steps about how to become a filmmaker. It's going to be great. Now the first question is obvious. What education do I need to become a director of theater or film? They might have gotten classical training by the Directors Guild of America. How's about the average salary? On Broadway, the highest paid directors earn about $50,000 per show. What's the work environment like? If you're going to be a director, you have to deal with actors. You gotta be a people person. You need to know how to pull the strings. What is the employment rate? 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 About 11%. That's like 93,000. It's going up though. About 1,000. 93,000 to 1,000 to 103,000. 11%.
My name is Chuck Shanlever, and I am a producer-director. I'm currently employed by Crozier & Henderson Productions. I'm the general manager of multimedia and special projects. Well, to be a director, there's several paths. You can go to film school, you can go to get a degree in RTF, or you can get a camera and take your ideas, write them down, and start directing. No, you don't have to have an advanced degree to direct. A lot of people, some people get them, others don't. You know, Spielberg didn't have an advanced degree, and he turned out pretty well for him. No, then you can get, you can be a member of the DGA, which is the Directors Guild of America, but there is no license that I've ever known about. Once you are out working in the world, in the world and working in an environment, continuing education is about keeping up with new technology. I just shot a national commercial for Oric vacuum cleaners, and we used a new HD camera. The idea of using technology as just one of your tools, not as an end to itself, I think makes one a better director. Well, that's a really interesting question. You know, Madeleine L'Engle is an author, and she wrote a book called The Artist's Way. And there's a debate on whether you can teach someone creativity. You know, you can teach composition. You can teach someone the law of thirds. You can teach someone how to compose a still frame. You can teach someone how to compose a shot from a technical aspect. But I don't know if you can teach creativity. I think you can encourage creativity. Well, I think perseverance. I think perseverance is the #1 key. And I think perseverance is the #1 key in pretty much any endeavor. But, you know, you don't walk out of film school, or you don't be a grip on your first movie and look around and say, hey, I want to direct. and walk up to somebody and say, hey, listen, would you give me $100,000 to direct your next music video? And they're not going to say, oh, sure, yeah, here you go. You got to believe in yourself. You have to get other people to believe in you, and you have to persevere, because you're going to get told no. But that's the beauty about doing your own films, directing your own pieces, writing your own stuff and directing your own pieces, because nobody's going to tell you no but you, right? And so sticking to it and persevering, I think, is the most important quality in becoming a director. And being true to your own vision and sticking to that. For as many directors as there are that many skill sets. Some directors come to it being DPs. I worked as a director of photography before I actually directed. I shot and directed my own stuff. Guys like Alfred Hitchcock never went behind the camera, except for what they call the butcher shot. And that's when the director shoots one shot. And it's the butcher because he's going to butcher it. The skill set, it just varies. What the trend in Hollywood now is for writers to become directors, where you don't really have to know a lot about the movie making aspect of itself, as long as you can write a good story. If you have a big budget Hollywood movie and you have a ton of people around that are going to support you, yeah, sure. But if you're trying to do a low budget film, you're trying to make a movie, you're trying to make a statement about something you believe in, about something that's important, my personal belief is that the more you know about the technical aspects of making film, the more you know about lighting, the more you know about every aspect of filmmaking, I believe the better director you'll be. I think the most important management skill and organizational skill is the ability to take a lot of little pieces and see the whole. The ability to look at a monitor, look at a scene, and take in the whole thing almost as almost at a visceral level, where you see it and you see everything that it needs, or you see that it's complete. To be able to take these different departments and make sure, you know, you get the wardrobe, you get the makeup, you get the sets, you get the props, you get the art direction, and you see it as a whole at once. You know, you have to not just look at the one little thing. Now you have to, I believe, trust your art director, trust your prop master, trust everybody that's on set that they've done the very best they could. But ultimately, it's your responsibility as a director to be able to look at that and say, okay, I see the whole, you know? Or look at it and say, I need a little more something for this scene, and it's in this, where it's in this place, or it's in that corner, or whatever it happens to be, you know? Whatever it happens to be. And from an organizational standpoint and management, I directed, the last kind of rock video I did was a band called Cutlass, and the song was Sea of Faces. And after we finished, we wrapped principal photography, the manager of the band came up and he said, that was amazing. You didn't yell at anybody all night long. We shot all night. And he said, I've never worked around a music video director who didn't yell at everybody all night. And I just said, well, that doesn't help people work faster. You know, the idea is that you as the director set the mood for the day, for the night, for the set. And so if you are calm but in charge and collected and have a clear vision, it helps everyone else do their job and stay more focused. I've done videos from nothing, absolutely nothing, to $250,000, and so there is no real average. I believe it's not about the money. I believe it's about having an idea that's important enough to want to communicate. You know, I don't know that there is a usual work environment. The work environment is, I guess if I were to kind of take an amalgam of all my experience, the work environment is very high pressure. You know, sometimes you get one take. Sometimes you can do a take over and over again. If you're doing a car crash, it's pretty much one time. You know, it's really hard to redo it. If you're capturing a live event, you know, it happens one time. You got to make sure everything's on. We were doing a vacuum cleaner commercial, you know, very, very sexy. But it's a national spot, so, you know, and so here's scenario one, and each vacuum goes in. And this is going to be a crane move. This is going to be a dolly, and we're going to, you know, so that you break out what we're going to do. In my case, in this particular one, you know, I was also lighting it. So my duties were to work with the gaffer and the key grip to say, okay, we're going to put it, you know, I want 2 HMIs here. I want a bounce card over here because it's going to like this. And I want to rim it, and this is sort of the setup that we're going to have. And now I want you guys to, you know, I don't want to have to tell you this every time. You know, to roll, I would say, okay, now the next vacuum is the XL Go, and we're going to have Rita is the talent, and Marianne and Lee are the background. So get them ready, and then we would roll, and then the next guys would come in. How many videos are on YouTube? A couple of million? Mm-hmm. By a couple of million people? There's a couple million directors. Well, if you're a director, that's the top. If that's what you want to be. You know, if you want to be a director, you know, Victoria Hochberg, who's a television director that I worked with, we were talking and she was joking. She said, yeah, you know, really, I'm a director, but what I really want to do is craft service. Because there's always, inevitably, there's somebody on the set who's doing craft service that says, yeah, no, I'm doing craft service now, but what I really want to do is direct. You know, so for those of us who looked at a set and said, I want to be around the camera and I want to be a director, that's the top. I mean, as a director, I want to make pieces that can help change people's lives or change how they think about their own life.